In 1993, I was a young man living in South London. I was living with the mother of my daughter at the time, some crazy English girl. Yeah, we were living in South London, and I remember going to get my hair cut at a barber's, and I remember they were taking a collection for Stephen Lawrence. A couple of weeks earlier, he'd just been stabbed in Elton, and 1993, that was pure integration phase for Caribbeans. It was a new generation of young black people, and it was new integration for the first time with the rave scene. So a lot of young black guys and white girls were hooking up. A lot of black guys were mixing with other white guys, and all gangsters and all security people were meeting themselves in the same rave at the same time, hugging each other. But it was an illusion. It was a little bubble of racial harmony that was going on in central London at the time. And meanwhile, outside, around and about, it was the same racist nastiness. Now, for a family like mine and other similar black families at the time, there was this phenomenon of moving out. You had your house, and then you bought a nicer house, and you moved out. And in fact, my family did that. We had, quite a big place in central London, but my dad moved out. And then once again, during the time of the 80s and the boom and so forth, a lot of black parents were moving out into the suburbs, and their kids were getting attacked. And I remember my friend Michael, when he moved out to Enfield at the time, not that many black people out in Enfield at the time, and he got chased down the roads with some guy swinging a bicycle chain and so forth. And this was a similar phenomenon. Stephen Lawrence and his friend Dwayne, on their way home, they get rushed by a group of white boys. What nigga, rush them, stab him up. And obviously what followed then was the most nasty, disgusting, embarrassing phase in British legal history in terms of police covering up evidence, trying to fixate upon the survivor of the attack, Dwayne, and trying to make him to look like he was a criminal and so forth. And the murderers were Gary Dobson, Neil Acortt, Jamie Acortt, Luke Knight, and David Norris. Now, we've just seen a conviction of Gary Dobson and David Norris. Now, the only reason they were found guilty is because of DNA techniques which have been used so extensively now, and DNA still being found on their clothes. We knew there was some sort of Masonic link between one of the boys that did the stabbing. His dad was a quite notorious local gangster at the time, and I believe he was in the same lodge as some of the coppers. So just basically hilarity ensued after that. But they've just finally, 19 years later, they've just been found guilty. But there are still another three others out there. There are still another three others out there that are guilty as hell. England is not necessarily a small place. There's some black people that know who they are. There are some black people that know who they are, and probably even hanging out. So, well, they're not really that bad. They probably got a bad rap. There's some coon out there that knows where these guys are and has been associating with them over the last 18 years. This is the type of thing that I think about and disgusts me. I mean, the police hid some secret cameras and all manner of racial nastiness has been caught on tape in terms of them stamping things and saying, oh yeah, that should give the Lawrence family some comfort and blah, blah, blah. But, these two animals have been found guilty, and it's taken 18, 19 years, but at long bloody, hang on a second, the things that precipitated this guilty verdict would have been, at the time, I remember Jack Straw set up the Macpherson report, which looked into how the case was handled, and the High Court judge being, I suppose, maybe even desensitizing himself from his racial loyalty, has decided to give an honest appraisal on the police force and deem them as institutionally racist. Now, I remember this happening because things started to change for a lot of people in the workplaces. I recall my dad being asked if he could come in and give London Transport some pointers on race relations after, the Macpherson report and so forth. So it did have wide ramifications for a lot of black people. And for a high court judge to say that the police force was institutionally racist was a big thing. I mean, that's a historic thing. I mean, it's a definite black mark against the name. I mean, we're not stupid. You can count the police deaths in police custody, even just to Smiley the other day, right? It's still going on. But people like to, the media will just cover it up, but this is a historic judgment, okay, and it was greatly embarrassing, and I'm looking at this, the Lawrence family, they broke up over this, and so a lot of pain has gone down and so forth, and but something really struck me about this, and I was looking. Death of Stephen Lawrence. I remember the anti-fascist league, and everyone was really hyped up, and everyone was political at the time. And I was coming into an awakening of the different secret bodies and societies that were really running things. And that was one of the cases there, and how they managed to manipulate justice. And I thought, hang on a second, this is racist white kids killing black kids. It was really embarrassing. They got caught, they got let off, even the fact that they got let off and everyone knew that they got let off, they were let off, and that was embarrassing, and even now they must have just given them up and said, listen, this is just too embarrassing, these guys got to go down. But what's happened since the death of Stephen Lawrence and the McPherson report and all of that embarrassment and the family struggle? In the 18 years the family has struggled to get justice, what has happened in the community? Black kids have started killing black kids. This never used to happen. I was alive when this never used to happen in London. Okay, and if it was like someone from Hackney, someone from Tottenham's party, and you had their girl and blah, 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 whatever, and it was, over women. I mean, for goodness sake. It wasn't gang related, certainly not any colour affiliations, which seems to have gone through the local hoods like a dose of sauce. Can you believe it? In London now, we got people. Well, check this. You got people repping gangs according to colours and bandanas. Right, these are the people that need to be put to death. Right now, we know this. We agree with this. But they're black people as well. Now you're hearing me saying these are people that need to be put to death, while still looking for the justice of Stephen Lawrence, who was another young black man who was killed by white guys at the time. But the difference is, these young black kids are quite prepared to kill each other right now. That's what's happened in the last 18 years. Yeah, your rappers have done a really good job at making young black kids want to fight and kill other black kids if they want to start. But, so all of this has been internalized in the last 18 years in London. You had it like this in America a long time ago. From when I was a very early age, I knew guys in America were blowing each other away for stupidness all the time. But we weren't doing that over here in the UK. No, after the death of Stephen Lawrence and the McPherson report, they said, no, we cannot look bad on the world stage running around killing these Negroes. No, but they still have to die. I know. Let's have them affiliate according to postcode, wear bandanas like the film Colours, and start killing each other. And guess what? Yeah, it's taken root. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, was it one of Akala's lyrics? He said, if you heard a Chinese rapper saying, die chink die, wouldn't that sound stupid? But at the same time, you Negroes can talk about Shankaman, man's a Shankaman, and all this rubbish. Yeah. You talk about killing each other. Well, carry on, man. Carry on killing each other. Because just keep that shit way away from me. You have to keep that shit way away from me. Because you're authors to your own destruction, and you're going to in the abyss, and you're laughing and you're doing the Dougie into the abyss, man, and you're quite happy about it. I'm not happy about it. The difference between Stephen Lawrence's generation and my generation is that we worked together and we were brotherly with other black people. Not like these very dark excuses for black people running around at the moment. And as it's 2012, man, I got to pull the ladder up. I'm sorry. I got to pull the ladder up. And you might be saying, yeah, look, there's plenty of stuff out there to wake up a brother right now. If you don't know who you are, find out your nationality, all of this business, you should be finding out right now. And then you should be transferring that either towards education or some sort of economic independence. Okay? Being business orientated, trying to sustain trying to create wealth. Okay? Trying to create wealth through community. And if you're not on that, you're on some stupid tip. Yeah, okay, where you're selling out your own people, you're running around trying to stab your own people, people robbing each other, killing each other for trainers in America still, niggerdom still persists. What can we do, man? We can't breed. Are you going to wait to breed this out? Do you know how long it would take to breed this behavior out? Okay, we need some very drastic strategies. I reiterate, the whole point of me making this blog was to put down the realization that since the death of Stephen Lawrence, the embarrassment has led for the British establishment to employ a new tactic in the war against young black youth, and that is having them kill each other.